Welcome back, my friends. Welcome back. Good morning. Coming to you from Appleton, Wisconsin. It's been, as the kids say, a minute since I've been with you. I'm sorry. I was on Hometime, and then I got off of Hometime, and I'm on my 5th day back. Been just slamming in a good way. Just really everything hitting on all cylinders since I came off of Hometime. I'm kind of, at least for this week, I'm in a new corridor. You know, I have been going back and forth from Midwest to Northeast most of my solo career, which is fine, actually. It's not the most fun driving, but man, you know, if you want good freight, you will need to be where the people are, and so I'm really not complaining. The money's been good and keeping me very busy, but you know, gets a little old bouncing back and forth, you know, Ohio to New Jersey, Pennsylvania to Illinois, you know, that sort of thing. But the money's been good, so it's really not a complaint. But now this week I've been bouncing kind of north-south from like Wisconsin, just been in like the upper Midwest area, kind of circling that area. I've been through Chicago at least 4 times in 5 days. And I'm about to go through it again today. I'm heading down to Illinois today, and we'll be going through Chicago, which is one of the things that kind of sparked today's topic. And I'll tell you the topic, but then I have something I want to talk about that's off trucking. Yeah, the topic is everything gets easier, and it really does. And I've mentioned it before. I subscribe to No Hippie, and he often says it's the easiest job he's ever had. And I've often responded in my own videos saying I hope that's true, because I'm not there yet, and I'm still not quite, but I'm far enough along that I see what he's saying is absolutely true, and it gets better. So I'm going to hit that in a second. Wanted to talk about Hometime a little bit. Had a great time. I had 2 weekends with a week in between. First weekend I got, and I'm going to post a few pictures as well somewhere around here, you'll see them. First weekend I got to see my youngest daughter in a band competition. They took second. They deserved first. I truly believe that. They've got an awesome band, and I was glad that I got to go to one competition. I really enjoy those. But yeah, they got second place overall. The following weekend, my oldest daughter had her Sweet 16 birthday party at my parents' house on the water. Great party. Really happy with her group of friends, by the way. I mean, there's a little hope for the future. This was the most polite, respectful group of kids I've been around in quite some time, and they had a blast. They had, it was a cookout type thing with, we had lawn games all over the place. Volleyball, badminton, cornhole, basketball, you name it. We had it all. And it all kind of culminated in, we had 2 fire pits, one for the few adults that were there, and the other one for the kids, where they did s'mores and just kind of hung out into the evening. Great sunset. It was a perfect day. And the most fun part about it was my oldest daughter has been begging for over a year for a hedgehog, little porcupine looking things. And we already have 2 cats, and I'm not home to help out as much anymore around the house. So my wife and I have just felt it's enough. We got enough mouths to feed, and the kids, not really a complaint. They're typical teenagers. They're not quite ready to handle responsibility of truly taking care of, 100% taking care of a pet until now. And I will say, a couple, it's been probably 3 or 4 weeks ago, my wife called me as this party was coming up, and she was saying, God, Ashley won't leave me alone about this hedgehog. What are we going to do? Do we get her the hedgehog? Do we not? And I responded to her, I don't know how we don't get it for her. This kid, I am so proud of my oldest daughter, proud of both of them, but talking about Ashley today. She has just risen, I guess matured is the word, in the last year in lots of amazing ways. She's got all A's and 1 B+, can't be happier about that. And both my kids kind of struggled through the COVID the height of the COVID thing, switching over to everything digital and online was really tough on my kids, as it was for a lot of kids. And it's taken a long time to really bounce back from that. And one gripe I have is that the schools didn't drop that crap when the height of COVID was over. We're still doing an online junk. Anyway, yeah, they all get this high-end interactive internet program for working from home, and now to me it's just plain lazy. The teachers do too much through this online thing still, even though they're in the classroom. Just a little side gripe. But yeah, it was a great week. Got to spend time with my parents a few times. We went out to eat, so it was good. All right, but one gripe about my Hometime. All right, HBO, yes, the big media company, HBO, I believe owes me at least 10 hours of my life back. Okay, let me explain this one. I and my wife are huge Game of Thrones fans. I've watched the whole thing start to finish through probably 5 times. My wife maybe 3, and I'll admit probably because I begged her to watch them with me. She liked them, but I don't think she wanted to watch them 3 times through. But loved them, just absolutely loved them, and I was really, really looking forward to the House of Dragons thing, and my wife had saved all of them and not watched them so that we could watch them, kind of binge on them when I got home, which we did. And I will not give any spoilers. I'm going to talk very general terms here, but that was the biggest steaming pile of garbage I have ever watched. It was, to me, horrible. To even put the Game of Thrones label on that series is amazing to me, and I'll kind of go through a little bit of why I feel that way, and hopefully y'all enjoyed it. I don't know, I thought it was total crap. What is it that people liked about the Game of Thrones series? For me, it was several things. One thing about Game of Thrones is they made you like and love to hate certain characters. You loved Ned Stark, you hated Joffrey, and the other part of that, and you invested in these characters, and then they would kill them off, like out of the blue. I remember that's really what hooked me on Game of Thrones, was when Ned Stark, I was kind of not so much into it until the episode when Ned Stark was beheaded, and that just blew my mind, that a show would take what to me was the main character at the time and just off him with with no lead up whatsoever. Just shock and awe was what I loved about that. And the unexpected nature of it is what I think a lot of people like about it, that they had no problems killing off their main characters for shock value. The Red Wedding, all that, it's amazing. This House of Dragons, I'm going to do it without the spoilers. I don't want to. I imagine everybody's caught up because I was late. We did 8 or 9 episodes at a time. I can tell you, I didn't care about any of the characters, one way or the other. They did not build any of the characters up. They kind of had the prince, whatever her name was, princess, as kind of the main character, but then she very quickly became not a great fun character to like. Everybody, all characters are going to have some flaws, but I didn't feel invested in any character, whether it was to love them or to love to hate them. The bad guys weren't that bad, the good guys weren't that good, and there was no real huge conflict. They had this stupid Crab King guy that was apparently had taken over one beach somewhere, and they were a little worried about that. But there was no major conflict in the world, which is the epitome of Game of Thrones, is that, it's a dangerous world to live in. You could die at any moment in Game of Thrones. This one, all of it was palace intrigue about line of succession and the validity of the line of succession. Got 2 blonde parents and 3 brown-haired boys, or 2 brown-haired boys. And oh my gosh, is it pure? Is the line pure? Can we? And that was the whole conflict. It was nothing. In Game of Thrones, everybody was having sex with everybody all the time, and it was expected. in that world. In this one, they made such a hullabaloo over infidelity in the royal family, and I just, man, is that really a whole season you're gonna base on, are her kids the son of royalty, or are they, the son of somebody else? Again, I don't want to spoil it for anybody if it isn't. So yeah, HBO, steaming pile of hot garbage. I hated it. However, like Star Wars and like other things that I'm into, I had to watch it. I knew I hated it by third episode. I wanted to like it. I kept, next one, it's going to get better, it's going to get better. But it didn't. But I have to know the story. So I don't know if I think there's at least one more episode, and I'm sure I'll watch it. But man, that was really disappointing. Now, if they ever go back and pick up Arya's story, where she's heading off to the end of the year, end of the world, I'm there, man. That's the spin-off I wanted to see. I've seen her on TikTok. It doesn't sound like she's working on anything like that, but anyway, I don't subscribe to her, but I've seen her on TikTok a few times, and she's not really talking about Game of Thrones. But anyway, I think that's it for Hometime. Now, coming off of Hometime, I've been, as I said, rocking and rolling, really rocking and rolling. It's been just hitting on all cylinders. I'm on my 4th load in 5 days. I mean, we've just been load a day basically, and short run, so not the huge paycheck per one, but if you're looking at it per day, I'm doing great. So it was really great, and I did say was. I'm getting to that. So yeah, everything gets easier. That's one thing. A point, and I'm sorry, the light. It's early morning here, and I know let me see if I can. I don't think it's gonna make much difference. I got the sunlight coming in. Yeah, the everything gets better topic I wanted to talk about. I didn't look at a calendar. I'm roughly 3 months into my solo career, and I can say that each month, separated by a home time, roughly speaking, well, I'm at least out 6 weeks at a time, if not a little more so far. So more than a month, but part of it is exactly what you would expect, and I'm really talking to those, my beloved fence sitters. Again, not a derogatory term, great place to be, being careful with the decision, but this might interest you in that, a lot of the progression in solo is gradual. As you go along each day, you do things, you learn things, you make mistakes that you're not going to make again. Everything from backing to tandems to everything, slowly but surely, as you would expect, gets better. The thing that I noticed, and it really kind of hit me kind of hard, I was driving, not in a bad way, but I was driving through Chicago. I've said I went through Chicago 4 times at least this week. And in the past, I remember in TNT and PSD, normal to be kind of nervous when you're heading into a big city and traffic and all that, and you're white knuckling the steering wheel and worrying about it. It kind of hit me on like the 3rd or 4th run through there. I'm going through I would say heavy traffic, but moving traffic, not stop and go, moving at a good clip. And I realized what I was doing. I had, again, my Christmas music. Yes, Christmas. If you didn't see my ho 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 no he didn't video, I start Christmas the minute a chill was in the air, and I'm listening to Christmas music. Not every time, but a lot of the time I'm doing that. I have 2 playlists, and I just realized what I was doing. I'm sitting there going through this heavy traffic in Chicago, and I'm whistling to Rankin Bass, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Burl Ives, and Johnny Mathis, Andy Williams, and all that. I'm whistling and singing, and I'm completely relaxed in traffic. And again, I'll always say, there's difference between being alert and the tense. You can be completely alert. I'm always alert when I'm driving, always will be. But the tense part of it goes almost gone. That was the point that I'm getting to, is that I wasn't, if you had checked my heart rate, I don't think it would have been elevated at all. I was perfectly comfortable driving through the city. And that was kind of the first time I'd realized that I'd gotten to that point. When you do anything this many times, it does get easier. And the other thing I got to thinking about was, and also since I've been just bing bang boom, these real quick runs, and a shipper and a receiver almost every day, I noticed something also, and it made me kind of reflect back. I've had several times where it feels like everything kind of gradually improves, but there's been times that I feel like I've jumped forward, made a leap in how comfortable the job is and how good at it I am becoming, that kind of thing. And it's not what you would think. It's not like in the third week out or fourth week out, all of a sudden it's clicking. And it has been, but at least both the last two times, as soon as I come back off of Hometime, it's like I'm a different trucker. I'm immediately, it's like I leap forward. The last time it was backing. My backing started getting I came off of Hometime and I'm putting them right in the in the hole where I want them. Occasionally having an issue, but for the most part got it down. And this time, basically everything, it's just clicking. No anxiety going into shippers and receivers now. I know I can get it in there. I can steer the back. I don't worry about that anymore. I'm confident in my setups, which again, if you're starting out, don't worry so much about the, do I jackknife here? Do I chase? That's important, but it all hinges on a good setup. That's the thing. And again, my trucking skills, if you want to learn all that kind of stuff, that is the best YouTube channel out there for that. But I came off of Hometime and I'm just so relaxed and enjoying it. It's been, the first time back from Hometime, like after I did my upgrade, and then I was out for 2 or 3 weeks, and then I went home. And I remember it was dread. I had a feeling of dread going back out because I didn't have it down yet. It was scary. That first month of solo was nerve-wracking and scary and sometimes. And I remember, coming off that Hometime was really rough because I was like, oh God, I'm going back out into this. Second Hometime, much better. I actually, you always miss your family and you want to stay, but there's a part of you that kind of aches to be on the road again. And I had that. It wasn't dread. I was looking forward to the challenge. I knew I wasn't quite there yet, but I was getting there, and I was kind of eager to kind of take it across the finish line and get better at these things. This time, I was eager to get back on the road, of course, missing my family, and not ever really wanting to go. That last day is always tough. But that part of you that wants to get back out there was raring to go. I was really excited to get out on the road. And once I got out here, it's like, I guess each time you come off Hometime, you come out with fresh eyes and a better attitude coming off of Hometime. And I've just been relaxed and able to thoroughly enjoy the job. There's the moments, of course, that suck, and you're never going to get rid of that. But in very large part, all that kind of butterflies and nerves is out the door. I'm not worried about that. The only time I get nervous is when something in the moment happens that's rough. A car swerves in front. I had a guy yesterday. I was going down, I think it was I-80 or something, and it was a lot of road work. The two concrete walls on the sides of two lanes, and the on-ramps from the exits coming onto the interstate didn't have like a long on-ramp. It was just kind of yield and come right on in. And right in front of me, a car came flying up the on-ramp that doesn't really exist and swerved right into the lane in front of me, which made the car in front of me swerve out of that guy's way. I had to move to the left real fast. This car that swerved onto the interstate actually bumped at the ends. When you have an exit, when you got both those concrete walls, there's of course a break in that wall, and when the wall starts back up again, usually there's that front metal part that has like tires inside and like a little wrap around the front, if you get a head-on collision on the end of that wall, it's supposed to cushion it a little bit. So there's like 6 to 10 feet, something like that, of that. This guy actually clipped that on his back quarter panel. They came out, they both swerved, and he swerved back and just banged the back, like around the back tire area of his car, and he kept on going and continued to drive like a jackass. It was unbelievable to me. One, that he didn't pull over and check out his car. It didn't look like it was bad, but he bounced off that guardrail. So, yeah, of course, nerves are going to spike at moments, but it's in the moment. It's not worrying about the next thing, and that's the big part. So those of you, whatever, thinking about coming out, or or in TNT and worried about your solo career, yeah, it's rough. At least for me, it has been a rough go, but every month it gets better quickly, and just all of a sudden you just kind of wake up one day and driving down through Chicago and go, oh my God, I'm enjoying myself, and I'm in Chicago. So yeah, that's my lesson for today, folks. It's just, all of this gets so easy. No hippie's right. I can see it. I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I am, but like I said, when you can get to the point where you don't dread shippers and receivers because you're worried what kind of weird parking situation they're going to have, because you're nailing them every time, and able to drive. I mean, I look back and I can make the back do what I want it to do now. One little other tip: if you guys, I'm restricted to glasses only when I'm driving. I rarely wear them, but they're for long distance. My up close vision is very good, but my my long distance is for shit. And so I'm restricted on my license. I have to wear my glasses. But one thing, and I'm just throwing it out there in case anybody else is having backing trouble, if you happen to wear glasses, this helped me tremendously. When I'm doing an alley dock, I'd keep my glasses on because I am driving, and you're kind of looking real hard around the corner here, and it just eventually I realized that all I'm looking at is the corner, is like the side of the rim of my glasses, and that's in the way of my vision. So I started taking my glasses off just to park. Made a huge difference. So just throwing it out there, if anybody else wears glasses and they're having a little trouble with their alley, try taking them off. I mean, I can see the back end of my truck just fine. It's signs and writing down the road that I need my glasses for. And I'm not on a public interstate, so I don't believe I'm breaking any laws or anything being in a parking lot with my glasses off. But whatever, I can get in there great without the glasses, so I take them off just to park. So, hey, for what it's worth. Now, real quick, I know I'm running long again. I was hoping this would be quick. But the down thing, I always, when I have an episode in mind, especially something called Everything Gets Easier, you can almost guarantee that something that's not easy is going to happen to me, and it did. But it has a lesson in there as well. I have turned this truck upside down, but yesterday I went to grab my CDL and it wasn't in its place. I keep it in my wallet, and whenever I'm going in places, my CDL, my Prime ID, the various truck stop cards and things like that, I usually grab what I need and put them in my pocket. And my shorts have very deep pockets. I've never worried about that. But I've switched over to sweatpants some days, and they don't have as deep of pockets. Now, I don't honestly know what happened. I think they're here somewhere in this truck. I think I just tucked them away, tired one night, tucked them away somewhere rather than putting them back in their place. But I have lost my CDL and my Prime ID and my my pilot card, all three of them together, which leads me to believe I can't imagine that 3 cards fell out of my pocket and I didn't notice. So I don't think it's that. I think whatever happened, I either tucked them away somewhere in this truck that I thought I would remember that I did it, or maybe at a counter at a shipper or receiver, I might have, maybe pulling out my CDL, set it to the side, and then walked out without grabbing that. I think that's probably the most likely. But so yeah, sucky day yesterday. Not only that, when I was turning this place upside down. Literally, I had the mattress flipped, took all the sheets off my bed, thinking that maybe I went to bed with them in my pocket, and they slipped out and went down the side. Anyway, during that process, my Rand McNally cord, where not exactly, I have my charger has 2 cords. One of them goes to the Rand McNally. One is a phone cord that doesn't work for some reason, but that kind of hangs down. And as I was kind of ransacking my truck, I stepped on that cord and it yanked my Rand McNally off of the holder on the thing and knocked it in the floor. The Rand McNally's fine, but now the stinking cord thing, you know, when you like bend that little port or whatever, and you have to wiggle it to make sure it's charging. That's my deal now. $700 Rand McNally, and now I gotta friggin' worry about, you know, how to charge it up. I gotta make sure it's exactly right so that it's connecting. Ah, crap day. It really was. But anyway, and the lesson and the good thing, and it's one of the things that's great about being at a mega carrier like Prime. You know, if I was on my own and had a day like yesterday, it would have been demoralizing, you know, knowing that I have to keep working and work out all the details of how the hell am I going to get my license, going to get my ID, and the pilot card, all that stuff. I made that begrudging, you know, message to my fleet manager, and they were on it. 2 of them. They contacted me immediately and said, "We've got your card being made. Where would you like it sent?" You know, and we went back and forth on certain things, and it was so nice to have in that moment no judgment. They didn't, you know, shame on you, you know, this kind of thing. They just got on it. You know, their job is to keep you rolling, and whatever comes, they're there to help. So I was extremely pleased with the way that went down. Still, it's going to be a pain in the ass. They got to route me home. Unfortunately, in Virginia, there's a wait period. You go and you renew, you get to the new license, but they give it to you. It's a paper copy, and then they mail the actual license 7 to 10 days out. So I don't know how that's going to work. I'm going to call the DMV on Monday if I'm not already home by then, and see if there's any way to expedite that part over the phone so that I don't have to come home twice, one for the paper copy and one for the real copy. But anyway, neither here nor there. It'll all work out. They sent me a copy of my license on my phone. I've got that. I've got everything I need. The fueling is going to be the big pain in the ass. Called Fuel Desk, and I've got to call them or use the app, which I haven't used yet at these various truck stops. You know, basically the other way is you call them and go on missing card status or something, and they've given me my number and all that, and I just walk in and have to do it at the register. Pain in the butt, but hopefully it will only be a few loads, a few fuel ups that I'll need to do that. All right, calling it at 28. Good God, man, I gotta stop running my mouth so long. All right, everybody, I hope you're having a great whatever day today is, Saturday, I think, and I hope you're well. Take it easy. Bye-bye.